Good morning, traders. It is Wednesday, July 10th, quarter to 6 a.m. Pacific, quarter to 9 a.m. Eastern. I'm Jonathan Van Kloot with Stock Navigators, and this is my Wednesday morning market analysis. Quick reminder, make sure you hit the thumbs up button on the video right below what you're watching, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well so that we keep you up to date on what's coming up in the future, and give me any feedback, comments, any symbols you'd like analyzed. Anything I can do to help out your trading, please do let me know in the comments below. And with that, looking at the S&P 500 this morning, well, it's looking up. We had a really nice down day that snapped right back, completing what looks like our ABC correction, which you can see happening over here. ABC down, and then now we are heading to the upside. We have made our first higher low. We're now heading higher, broke that high, and everything is looking good for a continuation of this lovely trend line that I just drew. That is pretty terrible, but it's roughly right about there. You get the idea. We are clearly in an uptrend, higher highs and higher lows, and the next challenge high is right up overhead, the all-time high right there, and it's looking good for getting up and over that. Oscillator is continuing to build strength, so the bull trend is intact. Everything is looking good. Let's see, anything else to really take note of? Not especially. It looks to me like wave 3 is simply continuing to the upside. So what more could you ask for? It's looking like we're going to have more upsides today. Obviously, wait until the first half hour to an hour or so passes. Let the market establish what it wants to do after a move like this that we've just seen. I wouldn't be terribly surprised to have a little bit of a pullback. This is a huge 60-minute candle this morning. I mean, this is just gigantic. So you can see right here around 8 a.m. or so Eastern. That is, right around the time when news starts to usually hit, and things can start to all of a sudden move. And we've clearly got some enthusiasm this morning. I haven't checked the news. I don't follow news, don't watch news, don't want to know, don't care. What I care about is price action, and the price action says that buyers are excited, and they are overtaking the sellers for sure. So just be prepared for that to pull back as it typically will. Like I said, just give that first half hour or so, let the market kind of settle down, figure out which direction it's going to want to go for today, and then you can trade in that direction. But right now, all signs are pointing to the upside. We've got the 13 EMA over the 50 on the 60-minute time frame. Of course, we're well above the 50 on the daily time frame. And yeah, it's as simple as that. All lights are green, so be prepared to trade to the long side. RTY looking very, very similar. We're getting people equally happy to buy the small cap stocks, it looks like. So looking for some continuation of the upside. Oh, I did forget to point out one thing. We also had a nice hammer yesterday, a nice little hammer candle there after this pullback, kind of showing us that the selling was exhausted. The buyers were taking control, came down just about to the 13 EMA, which is right where I was kind of thinking our first line of defense was as far as the support went, and figured that was probably likely to hold. And of course, that also was a buy zone right in there. So we got into almost the middle of that buy zone, which was where the 13 EMA was, and then bounced higher. And the Russell doing very much the same thing. We came down into a nice little hammer yesterday. Also, we had a minor buy zone right there, which we came down, tested, held, and reversed to the upside. So looking like the bulls are still in charge in the RTY as well. And once again, if you are a trend line kind of person, you can draw yourself a little trend line that goes something like that. And that's the line you're looking for the market to hold as far as pullbacks go. Yeah, right now we have continuation to the upside. Oscillator strong, MACD above the zero line, everything's above the zero line, signal line, everything is just 100% in the bull camp right now. Crude oil is also just continuing its march higher. This is going to sound like a broken record this morning, but we've got, once again, a nice little trend line right about like that. We pulled back almost to it, gave us a nice little retracement to almost the 50% level right there, and now we're heading higher. So next target to challenge is going to be right here overhead, and of course that is a minor sell zone, which also was there in the past right there. We're in it right now, and last time it got to it Of course, it pulled back. So first, there's a saying, an old floor trader saying, this first time fade, second time go with. Well, this would be the first time you fade it, go the other direction. Second time you go with it and expect it to go further. So that is what I am expecting. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but that is the expectation. Right now, momentum is starting to build. We don't have a lot of momentum yet. We're still, you can see there could be a lot more momentum in this market, but we're working on building. Right now, this momentum peak higher than this momentum peak. So right now, the oscillator momentum direction is to the upside. And again, you've got a lovely trend line right about there. And we're just looking for it to take out that high, right a little bit of above 60. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what this market can do to the upside. That is definitely the direction to be trading with. Go with the trend. All right, crude oil. Let's take a look at crude. And, oh, excuse me, that was crude. What am I saying? Gold, I mean to say. Gold is seeing if it can't now continue its push to the upside. It was looking to me like we had the completion of 5 waves here. Right this instant at this time. And then we have a wave 1, wave 2, and now we are already in wave 3 to the upside and looking for continuation there. It's also possible that we had an A, a B, and a C, and again, heading upside. C has finished. As long as we do not break this low here, then that is the case. That would be my my analysis. And then the high to break is going to be right here, about that 1440 mark. And once that's taken out, we can expect further upside to come. So certainly there is a bull market in gold. If you look at the really big time frames, like the weekly, monthly, you can see it there as well. There is a huge bullish trend developing, big bull market in the precious metals. So certainly the last hour, I mean, it is up big time, which is interesting. The market is up sharply the last hour, and so is gold. Typically, that's not the way things go, at least sort of stereotypically. That's not the way they're expected to go. The general consensus and expectation, anyway, is that gold tends to, the precious metals tend to go down when markets tend to go up, and vice versa. Of course, the reality is that is not necessarily the case. They are not inversely correlated assets. A lot of the time, they do move in opposite directions. Certainly, when people get nervous in the markets, when there's uncertainty in the air, etc., people will do what's called a flight to quality. They will leave the markets and go to gold as a safe haven to kind of park for a little while until the market calms down, figures out what it wants to do. But that does not always happen. And today is just an example of that. We have pretty much everything up. Bull. Everybody is up. So right now in gold, again, there's a nice trend line. You can just draw it right there if you want to, if you're a trend line kind of person. But as long as this low holds and this high gets broken, then there's no question the move is to the upside and is going to be continuing. So entering somewhere around here, like on that hammer or something, you get a nice low risk entry. Use the 13 EMA as your support. We've now gotten over that. So you could still, if it suits your risk parameters, there's still an opportunity to go long at this level. If you're maybe a swing trader, a little bit longer term trader or something like that. If you're a short term trader, well, this candle, if you're not in yet, it's too late to chase that now. For my money, I wouldn't want to chase that, but definitely watch on a smaller time frame for a pullback and then look to trade to the long side. Natural gas. Guess what? Bullish. Do we detect a theme today? Today is most definitely a day for the bulls. So price heading higher, no question about it. And we're still in higher highs and higher lows. But now I finally get something to say about some warning signs. Take a look at this. The natural gas market has hit its 50 SMA and kind of stopped dead in its tracks. Both times it got there, it just could not hold. So that's a problem. Right now, for the short term, we've got some issues, and you can see it really clearly here. We hit that high. We're almost back up there again, but look at the difference in the oscillator. I mean, that is brutal. But now, if we consider, whoops, go away. Okay, if we consider, make this full screen. If we consider our wave counts, actually, that is actually the bottom. Yeah, so this here is the bottom. It's, let me see. Actually, is that right? That's the, what is that, the 20th? Is that the 20th? That's got to be the 20th. Yep, that's the 20th. Okay, great. So here's our bottom right there. And that means we're looking at, say, a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, a wave 3 up. And within the wave 3, you could argue very convincingly a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, a wave 5. So it looks to me like wave 5 is just about done. We've got our divergence there, and it's very definitely uh, looking like it's running out of steam. That's really all there is to it. It's a momentum thing. This is indicating momentum, and the momentum has just vanished out of this market. So if I were wanting to trade natural gas right now, I wouldn't be looking to trade to the short side necessarily. If you're really advanced, you're a scalper and you want to jump in and out, just grab a handful of points or whatever, yes, you can do that, or a handful of ticks, more like in natural gas. But what I'd be looking to do is wait for the pullback, because if we've got a 5-wave cycle completed here, then when this finishes, we're going to get an A, B, C down to somewhere here-ish, 2.3, 2.35, somewhere in that range. And then I'd be looking to enter to the long side. So just keep an eye on your smaller time frames, count your waves, watch for your divergences at the ends of waves. That is a very standard giveaway. The highest peak of your oscillator is typically going to be the end of your wave 3. Wave 5 to run out of steam completely, give you that pullback, and you know what you can do: jump into the long side, because on the bigger time frame, we've got more room to the upside. I'm looking for a likely challenge of something around in here, 2.6 to 2.7, somewhere in there would be my my likely target, but only after a pullback. All right, Bitcoin. Look at this. Oh, that heading higher, looking to challenge this. The only unfortunate thing is that this is most likely wave 5 up, which means we're looking to run out of steam and do a nice big pullback. That's going to bring out the bears. They are going to be touting the death of Bitcoin again, probably, because that seems to be what happens every single time Bitcoin goes through any kind of a correction on any time frame. But who knows how deep it'll be, but definitely I'm looking for this move here to run out of steam somewhere either around this level or maybe a little higher. Ideally, wave 5 would be up above this a bit, and have some more room to go, and maybe get to that 14,500 level, 15,000, somewhere in there. But it doesn't have to do that. It definitely can truncate and kind of do a double top right at this level with a divergent oscillator, which it's looking like it's going to want to give us right now. We don't have confirmation of that yet, though. Don't watch out for this. Don't see a situation like this develop and an oscillator like this and think that's a divergence. That is not a divergence yet. We have a lower high and we have a lower high on the oscillator. So these are simply in sync with each other. We do not have a divergence yet. A divergence is when price either gets to the same or higher level and the oscillator is the same, lower specifically. Sorry, in a bull move, you need to see a lower oscillator and either same or higher price. So watch for that. If this is wave 5, watch for it to run out of steam, and then we will get a nice big correction of the whole move and possibly taking us down to somewhere. It could easily be maybe the 10,000 level. Technically speaking, textbook wise, it should actually even be a little lower than that. But given how bullish this market has been, and given how eager and hungry the bulls are in this market, and given how the whole supply demand thing in crypto, there's so little supply and so much demand, I'm expecting shallow pullbacks. I'm expecting a very, very strong upwards bias here. So 10,000 would feel about right to me, somewhere in that area. But we'll see if we get it. Right now, though, you can see we also have a divergence shaping up here. Lower oscillator, higher prices. So everything is suggesting to me that this market is going to run out of steam here somewhat soon. So just buckle up, get ready for that. If you're a short-term trader, that's fine. You can trade either direction, but just be prepared, especially in crypto, to jump in, jump out. Crypto is so volatile. When it moves, the moves come really fast, and you don't necessarily have a lot of warning. You can have a giant move in a 5-minute candle, and if you're not watching in that 5 minutes, you can get burned. So just be careful. But definitely the bias is to the upside on the bigger time frame. But just always remember, excuse me, always remember, you're going to have pullbacks. And so at the end of a wave 5, you want to wait for that ABC correction, and then you can see about jumping on board the uptrend once the wave finishes, shows you that it's finished with a nice divergence. shows you a bullish candle pattern at the bottom of a wave C, that kind of thing. And then you know you have a low risk entry to the upside. All right, last look at the ES, and look at that. Man, that candle's crazy. This is going to be an interesting day with a push like that. So do we get sellers trying to take advantage of this and jump all over it and slam it back down? Or is this just the beginnings of a continuation of the upside? I vote for a continuation of the upside. We also, oops, that was a terrible, terrible line. Let's try that. There we go. That's better. We have a nice little sell zone right here. And look what the candle just got. Went right into it. Went smack to it. Now the question is, do we get a pullback off of there? That's what I would be expecting, is get a little bit of a pullback there. And then we can see about continuing to the long side. So watch out for that. But bigger picture, everything's to the upside. Don't forget that. The trend is up. Do not fight it. You don't want to be shorting this trend. You don't want to walk in front of a moving bus. Okay, just don't do it. All right, that's it for me, Jonathan Van Kloot with Stock Navigators. Again, reminding you, hit a thumbs up on that video, give us a like on it, and subscribe to the channel so I can keep you informed of what's coming in the near future. And if you want to join us on Facebook, you can check out the link in the description. We've got both a public Facebook group. Of course, we have a private group for our students as well, but we've got a public one for everybody else. And we've also got our Facebook page and website you can check out. If you want more information on any of our trainings, we would be happy to work with you. Always love working with new traders or experienced traders, both. And everybody's got lots to learn in this world, including me. Every day is another learning experience. That's one of the great things about being a trader, is it is never a dull moment in the markets. Okie doke, I'm going to go get ready for our premium trading room. See everybody there, and I'll be back again doing another analysis on Friday morning. So stay tuned for that. Until then, have yourselves a great couple of days and have yourself a great day of trading if you're in the markets today. Oh, and how terribly, terribly bad of me. I neglected to mention today is a Fed day. Very, very important detail. Today is a Fed day. If you're not familiar with Fed days, that is the day that the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, meets to discuss, interest rates. That's the big one. Everybody is wanting to know, what are they going to do with interest rates? Are they going to raise rates, lower rates, blah, 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 blah. Now, that actually, now that I've mentioned that, now that I've remembered it's Fed day, it's Wednesday, I keep thinking it's Thursday all morning. This puts this move in an interesting light. Usually, not always, of course, but usually on Fed days, we don't see huge market moves first thing out of the gate. We get markets that are kind of quiet and everybody's sort of holding their breath, waiting to see what happens. A move like this right out of the gate, early morning or first thing in the regular morning East Coast time, suggests to me that somebody knows something and that the news is going to be maybe a rate lowering. That is going to be very interesting. I think most people have been expecting them to just kind of not want to do anything and be too afraid to touch anything. That's kind of been my personal bias, just believing that they're probably going to do nothing. But this is suggesting that perhaps somebody knows that they are actually going to reduce rates. That would be extremely, extremely bullish for the markets if they were to do that. Buyers will probably come running in, and maybe some people wanted to get in early. It's certainly looking that way to me now. So be prepared. 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern is when the announcement comes out. And right around that time, within a couple of minutes of after the 2 o'clock Eastern hour, you will often see the market go crazy in one direction, and then less than a minute or two, 3 later, reverse and go crazy back in the other direction. It can get really volatile. So if you are trading live money and you're not familiar with how Fed days go, be very, very cautious today. Might be even a good day to sit out and wait and see what happens. Just watch. If you are sim trading still, if you haven't hit your profitability consistency yet in order to go live money, then that's not a problem. Go ahead and trade and see what happens, but just be aware that Fed day is coming. All right, so trade carefully around the Fed day announcement, and let's see what happens today. All right, everybody, now that is actually it. Again, I'm Jonathan Van Kloot, Stock Navigators. Take care. See you Friday. Bye-bye. Oops, still got my pen. Bye.